Hey, what's up everybody? Eternal Fire here, and today we're going to be taking a more in-depth look at the Arms Warrior with a few different builds that you can use, and things have been changing fast, so it's been hard to stay on top of the Arms Warrior with all the changes that have been made in 7.2.5. So let's just jump right into the talents. First and foremost, Dauntless. If you have one single target during a boss fight, you're going to go with Dauntless. In any other situation, I recommend going with Sweeping Strikes, Mythic Plus Dungeons, or any boss fight where there's going to be ads. Go with Sweeping Strike. And then Shockwave, this you can use in Mythic Plus or something like Mistress Sazine where you need to stun ads, but most of the time you're going to have other raid members who don't need to talent into a stun to have an AoE stun to have one. So most of the time you're going to end up just going with double time. This Shockwave is a very nice frontal cone stun, however. In the next tier, this is where it starts to get more complicated. You have Trauma, which is a passive. Your Slam, Whirlwind, and Execute cause the target to bleed for 20% additional damage over 6 seconds, and multiple uses accumulate increased damage, so it can stack. With Sweeping Strikes, Trauma can be very nice. If you're doing single target, or sometimes even with AoE, you can also use Rend. You can put Rend up on your main target, or put it up on one or two other targets as well. I find that in an AoE situation, I find Trauma to be easier to use. As Rend, you have to apply the multiple Rend stacks to people, or individual Rend stacks to different targets, and then it costs 30 rage, so it's expensive, and you can find yourself easily rage starved. As far as doing the most damage, Rend does the most damage in most situations, whereas Trauma can pull slightly ahead in AoE situations. In the next tier, we have Bounding Stride, which is going to be your default go-to. You can use Defensive Stance for fights where you are really needing an extra defensive cooldown for yourself. And then in the next tier, we have Titanic Might and Fervor of Battle. Fervor of Battle has really kind of fallen off, so that whole Whirlwind spam has kind of gone away. There are a few fights in Tomb of Sargeras where Fervor of Battle is still used with very good results. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And then Titanic Might is just all around the best to use now. In the next tier, In for the Kill, you're going to use in every single situation. You don't want to deviate from that at all. And the reason being is because Deadly Calm really has no place with tier 20 4 set, and then Focus Rage is we're not using it right now. So In for the Kill is going to be the king. It's going to be the go-to. And then down here we have Opportunity Strikes and Ravager. So Ravager has really taken the lead, which surprised me. In my last video, I said it was garbage, and I was loving using Bladestorm, and all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh, people are using Ravager now in the logs. All the top logs, everybody's using Ravager. However, it's not everybody using Ravager. There are players using Opportunity Strikes that are getting top parses. So the people who are saying Ravager is the only way to go, you have to use Ravager, it's just simply not true. There are going to be fights where you're going to throw down Ravager, and then the boss needs to move, meaning you need to move out of the Ravager, and you can't predict that necessarily. So you're going to get no benefit from Ravager being a thing. So in fights like that, like a good example would be like Mistress Sazine, right? We're using her again. You could have to move on a moment's notice, so you throw down your Ravager, and now bam, guess what? You're not getting any benefit of it because you and the boss moved. So in that kind of situation, Opportunity Strikes is going to be a really good option to use. Now, with that said, Ravager typically does better when you have Convergence of Fate, because Convergence of Fate reduces the cooldown of Battle Cry, and then Ravager is already a minute, whereas Bladestorm is a minute and a half. Yep. And then with the 4 set, is it the 2 set or the 4 set? Oh, with the 2 set from tier 20, it reduces the cooldown of Ravager. So there, the synergy there, your Ravager is going to be up with Battle Cry very nicely. However, if you don't have Convergence of Fate and you're not using that, I actually prefer to use Opportunity Strikes, because Battle Cry will be up in 1 minute, and then your 2 set from your tier 20 is going to reduce the cooldown on Bladestorm by reduce the cooldown roughly down to somewhere around a minute. So your Battle Cry and your Bladestorm are going to be up very often also. Me, myself, personally, I prefer to use Opportunity Strikes. but Ravager does pull ahead in damage slightly. If you're not, doing top of the line mythic progression, don't worry about it too much. Just use what you prefer. They're both strong. Opportunity Strikes and Ravager, they're both very strong. So now, as far as using the Rend build, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to, like always, pre-pot, charge in, use your Colossus Smash, put Rend up. And the reason you're doing Colossus Smash before Rend is because Rend costs 30 rage, so it can reset the cooldown on Colossus Smash. If you're doing Rend before Colossus Smash and Colossus Smash is still available, you have no chance of proccing it. So you're going to, pre-pot, charge, Colossus Smash, Rend, and then you're going to, at that point, use your Battle Cry with your Blade Storm. If you're using Ravager, I recommend doing your charge in, Colossus Smash, and then put your Rend up, and then place Ravager down. And as soon as you place Ravager down, hit that Battle Cry and go with your rotation. At that point, you'd start using, your Mortal Strike, praying for a Colossus Smash proc. And you just want to basically make sure that you're keeping up Rend all of the time. And it's really important to have, some sort of visual cue. You see here, it's just gray and black and white right there. So when we apply it, you see it shining. It's just very visual right in the center of my screen, my Rend uptime. So you want to always reapply it before it falls back off. I recommend getting a weak aura for it. If you don't know how to use weak auras, I have a video that I just made last week regarding weak auras and how to set them up. You can have this very setup right here. So if you think that would be helpful for you, I know it's helpful for me. You can't be looking up at the top right of your screen trying to keep track of Rend realistically and doing a boss fight at the same time. If you want to be successful with Rend, get a weak aura. But basically, you just do your normal rotation and keep Rend up all the time. And then again, if you're using Blade Storm, you're going to charge in Colossus Smash, Rend, and then Battle Cry, Blade Storm together. And then if you're using Ravager, you're going to charge in Colossus Smash, Rend, put your Ravager down, and Battle Cry immediately after. And that's how you're going to use that. So it's not too much different from the last video that I made, but I did want to just go further into it because that's basically how you're going to want to play it. If you're going with a strong AoE build, you can go with Trauma, Sweeping Strikes. You could use Fervor of Battle for just pure AoE, and then you could either use Ravager or Opportunity Strikes, and that is up to you. But as far as a single target build right now, I think just purely single target, Dauntless, Rend, Titanic Might, in for the kill, Ravager, or Opportunity Strikes are going to be the best for you. If you have any, again, this is pure single target. If you have any adds at all, I would go with Sweeping Strikes, and you could use this same build the way it is, with the difference between you could use Opportunity Strikes or Ravager with good success. So this is not a guide for somebody pushing top of the line mythic. I don't think anybody pushing top of the line mythic is going to be watching my video, but I just want to, for the more casual to midline arms warrior, I hope some of this stuff you found helpful. So if you did find this video helpful, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next one.